always there for us. Why can't you just be for one child?
Stop guilt-tripping me. Stop guilt-tripping me. Stop it, okay?
Looking back, what sticks out to me is how long it took for me to realize that what was happening wasn't normal. But that's what postpartum depression does. It robs you of the ability to see things as they are. It started during my second pregnancy. The first pregnancy was relatively uneventful, but the second one was completely different. I had nausea the entire pregnancy. My mood swings were worse. And I say it was different, but that's in hindsight. When my son was finally born, something was off. I expected to feel elated, but I was just exhausted. And I looked at my husband and I could see the joy in his face, and I thought, where's my joy?
I didn't notice anything different. After the delivery, I thought she's exhausted. When we took the baby home, on top of all our other obligations, we started noticing each other less and less.
Stress is not what causes this condition. I mean, that's life, but it can make things worse. I mean, we were so busy. My son was 2 months old and I had hardly nursed him at all. I couldn't look at him without feeling dread. And then feeling guilt for feeling that dread. I'm sorry. After a few months, we finally had time to catch our breaths, but that was when things started to get worse.
So helpful. You're so helpful.
I'm trying my
Oh
hardest.
yeah, you look like you're really trying hard. You know, you just...
My thoughts started to turn inward, and I would go through periods, like a week at a time, of feeling like something deep inside was wrong. I started lashing out at my husband.
It's never gonna be enough. When is it ever gonna be?
She would bring up old arguments. I mean, all my little mistakes would just set her off and it would be a fight. And I didn't know what was going on.
Before long, I started having panic attacks, and anything would trigger me. My husband, my baby, my mother, they were like tripwires. I would start to feel like my heart was beating really fast and my thoughts were racing. It felt like I couldn't breathe and I would cry for hours. But still, I did nothing because it would pass and nobody knew, not my friends, not my family, because when they would see me, they would ask about the baby and I'd be like, oh, I just smile and say, you know, everything's fine. It all came to a head. I arrived home and my husband was working on his computer in the living room.
She came in and she said something to me, and I didn't hear her. I was just involved with my work.
My perception was so out of whack that I assumed that he was ignoring me. And I felt desperate to get through to him. And I couldn't form the words, and so I literally started banging my head against the wall. When my husband saw me doing this, he just shut down. He didn't know how to respond.
I just kind of froze and wait for this to pass over, and then I can ask her if she wanted to pursue help.
That night, I was hospitalized. After that night, I went to see my OBGYN, who referred me to a psychiatrist who put me on medication. And that in itself was a whole ordeal of side effects, allergic reactions, withdrawals, suicidal thoughts that I'd never had before. I didn't know what to do. And that was when a nurse at my doctor's office recommended that I speak to Esther at SPARKS Center.
Rachel called when she was already very lost. She has been going to many doctors. She was very ashamed and she felt very guilty and she was embarrassed to call. It took a long time until she picked that call up. She was in a very dark place and in a very deep tunnel that there is no end to that tunnel, and especially a mother, that the guilt and the shame and the willingness to do the best for your child you just gave birth to is in that dark tunnel. And many times, the step after that is suicidal. Following up on Hani, what's going on there?
She's really not doing well. I'm actually almost going over there now because I'm very nervous.
Esther's amazing. She gives Sparks her all. Literally, she is Sparks. She embodies Sparks. There wouldn't be Sparks without her.
When a child is born, it should be a new light to the world, to the family. When that turns into darkness, we need a spark to light it up.
It was such a relief to talk to someone and feel completely free of judgment. Esther helped me see what my options were, and because I wasn't responding well to the medication, she recommended we explore a variety of options and alternative methods, as well as a therapist from the SPARKS Center.
His involvement and support and understanding plays such a crucial role, and he fulfilled it successfully.
In counseling, she taught us different strategies on how to help her cope with her anxiety. And she told me what to look for. And now when I see her tensing up and when I see her breathing, I know what's going on.
Sometimes all he has to say is, "It's all gonna be okay. I'm here for you."